Number one, housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one. Number one, housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one, housing development progress in Nigeria. Housing development program in Africa. Housing development program and the globe. Number one, housing development program.
In Nigeria, the majority of cities are fast becoming homes to scores of individuals due to influx, rapid growing population, and rapid urbanization, among other factors. With this trend, there has been increase in the demand for houses across the country. With a population of approximately 197 million, coupled with high demand in housing units, both in quantity and quality, there is a need to seriously address the issue of housing affordability and housing shortage in Nigeria. Welcome to Housing Development. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva. The headline news is up next. I'll be back shortly.
The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has expressed its readiness to enhance and modernize its operational procedures to address the housing needs of Nigerians. The managing director of the bank, Madu Haman, affirmed this commitment during the 2024 management retreat held in Niger State recently. The retreat was themed Transformational Innovation for Sustainable Development in Uncertain Times. He emphasized that the transformation was aimed to swiftly modernize and innovate to address Nigeria's housing deficit by providing affordable, decent, and high-quality housing to its citizens. The Phase 1 development of the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program across the nation is expected to generate more than 1 million construction jobs. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, announced this during his speech at the official launch of the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program and the groundbreaking ceremony for the 3,112 housing unit Renewed Hope City in Kasana, Abuja on Thursday. According to the minister, Phase 1 of the Renewed Hope Cities and Housing program, entailing the construction and development of 50,000 housing units nationwide, will generate 1,250,000 direct and indirect construction jobs, adding that the housing units construction will spur a ripple effect throughout the value chain, encompassing the purchase and supply of building materials and the establishment of businesses around the construction sites. The Federal Capital Territory Universal Basic Education Board (FCT-UBEB) has commended FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for approving 30.9 billion naira to renovate public schools in the Federal Capital Territory. The acting chairman of the board, Dr. Hassan Sule, gave the commendation while speaking with newsmen in Abuja recently. Sule, who is also the secretary of the board, stated that this action would enhance the delivery of primary education in the nation's capital. He highlighted that if used effectively, the funds could help alleviate overcrowding in FCT schools and address the issue of out-of-school children in the region.
For more housing news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The problem of housing delivery in Nigeria is becoming a source of concern to many, as it not only affects the well-being of the citizens, but also the growth and development of the economy. In a bid to tackle the nation's housing challenge, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially launched the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate program, aimed at constructing 100,000 housing units nationwide. The launch took place on Thursday at Karsana in the Federal Capital Territory, and the pilot site of the program with over 3,000 housing units. Take a listen.
Millions of Nigerians struggle to access affordable housing, a growing housing need that is only getting worse. With a ray of hope for Nigerians who are unable to have access to affordable housing, and in line with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is embarking on an ambitious housing delivery program for all Nigerians in collaboration with the private sector to deliver 3,100 housing units in the Federal Capital Territory under the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate Housing Program. The pilot project for the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate Program is located at Karsana area of the FCT. The project will consist of 3,100 housing units on 54 hectares of land. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, while giving his speech, publicly expressed his gratitude to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR for appointing him as a minister and his confidence in his capacity to lead the actualization of the Renewed Hope agenda for housing and urban development.
I would like to seize this special occasion to publicly express my gratitude to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR for appointing me as the minister and his confidence in my capacity to lead the actualization of his renewed agenda for housing and urban development.
Dangiwa also highlighted the main focus and purpose of the initiative behind the Renewed Hope City, which is to ensure that all Nigerians, including those with no income, the vulnerable and underprivileged groups, have access to decent and dignified accommodation.
Mr. President, sir, we will make your Renewed Hope vision for housing a practical reality in terms of decent quality and affordable homes with infrastructure that support dignified living for our people in the Federal Capital Territory, the state capitals, and across the country. That's why we have planned and commenced the actualization of the vision under the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate Development Program, which Your Excellency is officially launching today. Under Phase 1, Your Excellency, we plan to deliver a total of 50,000 housing units across Nigeria. The cities will have 1,000 housing units per site in one location in each of the cities of political zones of the country and FCT, while the estate will have 500 housing units per site in the remaining 30 states.
Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing, congratulated the Minister, Project Consortium, and all Nigerians for this great achievement of the provision for affordable housing to all Nigerians.
Mr. President, I commend of Housing and Urban Development and his team and the consortium for this concept. Rest assured that the National Assembly is going to give you and all the support that is required for these programs and all of the housing programs in Nigeria to succeed.
President Bola Tinubu, while giving his speech, charged all Nigerians to remain patriotic, loyal, and faithful to their country.
Nigerians, don't look back. Look forward. Be hopeful, be assured that cares about you, and you must care about the country.
The main focus of the day was the official unveiling and groundbreaking of the Renewed Hope City by President Bola Tinubu, aided by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, and other invited dignitaries.
Welcome back. The launch and unveiling of Renewed Hope City Estate in Karsana FCT by Mr. President. I'll be joined by an affordable housing advocate, the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network, right after the break. It's housing development. I'll be back shortly.
The city is getting too loud. You need a home. Home is love. Peace and tranquility. Home is Housing TV Africa. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development, and with me in the studio is the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network and the founder of Housing TV Africa, Barrister Festus Adebayo. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's look at very recently, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently launched the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates, as well as the groundbreaking ceremony of the pilot housing project at Kasana, Abuja. What is your reaction to this?
I think it's a good development. See President endorsing the right of Nigerians to a home of their choice. I heard Mr. President talking about every Nigerian deserves to own a home of their own. That alone is a good takeaway for me at that event. Because if Mr. President consider it, that Nigeria have the right or deserves to own a home, I think the problem is half solved. So what remains is the political will to ensure that what he said can come into actualization. What remains is for Mr. President to walk the talk. 3,110 houses to be built in that location, and 1,000 in each of the states of the Federation. We need political ways to get it done. We need enabling environment to get the ministry to achieve that goal. From the way the President spoke, I saw that he believes so much in the capacity of the minister. Just as some of us who are stakeholders believe in the capacity of the Honorable Minister. But we need the political will, the political support of Mr. President to get it done. That is all I can tell you.
All right, so before we begin with this discussion, there's been a lot of reactions from Nigeria concerning the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates. We're going to have a view of those reactions right now before we come back to continue with this discussion.
Any initiative on housing, it's a welcome development because there is a lot of deficiencies in housing projects if it comes to residents, especially in the country. I am aware of the gap, and for that reason, so much Nigerians are made to pay so much house rent, so much cost of house rent because the availability of houses are inadequate. So for any initiative of the government that speaks to addressing the gap, will go a long way to address a lot of things. But now the problem is the implementation, because this is not going to be the first time we're hearing about housing program. I recall there used to be a FISH program under President Buhari's administration, and only God knows how well that went. And I would prefer the government would always try to build on what was in existence, perhaps an initiative that existed before, than launching an entirely new one. Because before they put their acts together and get to the end of this program, you discover that 4 years is far and gone. So before they get into the place of implementation, the administration is almost over. So I would advise that rather than beginning a new program all afresh, it would be wise to continue existing programs so that we can make more progress than beginning from the scratch.
Okay, it's a laudable project and actually it's a step in the right direction. We hope that the implementation will go properly so that the poor and common masses will be the beneficiaries of this noble project. Personally, I'm of the opinion, though we don't know how the government is trying to fund this project, but if it will be funded in pure partnership with our investors, I will humbly advise, or rather suggest, that most of these projects should be sited in the rural areas, in the area councils, so that they move it and make it complete low-cost housing estate, so the poor masses could benefit.
I don't think that is the way forward. For as of now in Nigeria, the way Nigeria is now, I don't think that it is going to help the poor masses. Huh? Take an example here now, this place now, this Abuja. Here in Nigeria, let me leave Abuja alone, totally Abuja. Things are very difficult, everything is very costly. Here now, a bag of cement is 8,500. At the east, where I came from, is 10,000 naira. So I don't know where is the way forward. Where is the way forward? That is not the fact. Building houses for poor masses, that is not what he should do. They should do, the government should do the right thing. Government should do the right thing, because for them building houses for poor, how many people are going to stay? What of those people that will not benefit from it? So for me, that's not the way forward.
All right, welcome back. I still have with me in the studio Barrister Festus Adebayo, the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network. All right, so you've seen the reactions of Nigerians concerning the Renewed Hope cities and estates. If you listen to the first respondent, who talked about why not the government continue from the other housing projects we have on ground, why are they trying to create new ones? You know, and he also spoke about the fish housing scheme.
Fish housing scheme.
Yes, so what's your reaction to this?
I think it's very interesting. What those people said are very right. We have been having so many housing programs. The other time, it was 1 million houses per year from Buhari administration. I think at the end of the day, the minister announced that he was able to complete 2,600 houses. So others are different levels. So what he said is very right. To me, the best way to go is for the federal government to look at the previous housing scheme, study it critically, and get to know why they fail. It is when they know why those schemes fail that they can make a headway. Without studying those housing schemes, we may end up having the same issue. But I must tell you, the best housing program that has ever succeeded in this country is Jakande housing program. And that is one that touched the lives of the poor. And that's the one that touched the lives of Nigerian workers. And that's the one that touched the lives of people on the streets. So, just as the people on the streets, that's what they said, I would also like to support what they said. The Nigerian government should study Jakande housing scheme and do exactly. I remember then there was issue of cement. Some people were coming to sell the cement for 100 naira to Jakande. And Jakande told them, I am not going to buy it 100 naira. Then 100 naira was a big money. And it threatened to be importing cement for the purpose of fulfilling his housing program in Lagos State. Some of them, therefore, started coming from the backyard to say, come and take 90 naira, I will pay. You come and pay 90 naira. So we're offering 85 naira. That was the method Jakande used to address the problem of the building materials.
All right, so let's come to that. Now, you just mentioned cement. With the current hike in the prices of building materials, especially the cement, which you just mentioned, do you think this Renewed Hope housing cities and estates will be affordable to the group of people who really need these houses? Those are the bottom of the, the housing ladder. Do you think it will be affordable for them to?
I must tell you, from the report I got from the property market, the hope of delivering affordable housing is dead. Some people in Enugu are buying cement at 8.5. Some in Borno are buying it at 9,000. I got a report from somebody from Port Harcourt who said he bought his cement also at 9,000 naira. What of iron rod? 70 to 80% of what we are using for building houses in Nigeria are imported. So what are we talking about? So the biggest threat to actualizing this goal is the prices of the building material. The poor exchange rate system. So whoever wants to achieve this goal and get the houses to the level of affordability of people that really need the houses, I mean the people that really need the houses, not those ones that have gotten 2, 3 in Atama or Sokoro, they must be able to think out of the box. That's one. They must get government support. Government, the Tinubu, that have said every Nigerian deserves a house, must go beyond the level of rhetorics to the level of actuality and ensure that something is done about cement and iron rod. Let me tell you this. Cement, I had one of the manufacturers. Why is your price so high in Nigeria and in Ghana? It's different. They told me that the cost of running business in Nigeria is higher than the cost of running business in Ghana. Most especially the amount of money they're spending on electricity. Running generator for 24/7. So the government must therefore address the issue of exchange rates if you want the prices of building material, and also encourage local patronage of building our own. We must change to the level of production other than consuming all the time. And that is the way forward. The government must create enabling environment. As of today, I don't know of any private sector that can deliver affordable housing with the price of cement the way it is today, with the price of iron rod with the way it is today. And therefore, I am calling for intervention. Government must come up with intervention. You have decided to remove subsidy. You can't remove subsidy without intervening. The poor man on the street need your support. They must be able to boast that this thing is as a result of government support.
All right, so very much. Thank you so very much, Barrister Festus Adebayo, for your time on the program. We do appreciate you. I've been speaking with Barrister Festus Adebayo, the Executive Director of Housing Development Advocacy Network and the founder of Housing TV Africa. Right after the break, I'll be joined by Tony Eniola, the Executive Secretary of Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria. The discussion continues right after the break. Stay with Housing Development.
Thank you, AIHS, for the opportunity of this exhibition. It was a nice experience. I would like to make it again.
Thank you, AIHS. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, AIHS.
Thank you, AIHS.
Welcome back. With me in the studio is Mr. Tony Eniola. He is the Executive Secretary of the Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're talking about the Renewed Hope Cities and Housing Estate that was recently launched by Mr. President. Now, how do you think these houses can really be made affordable to those who really need them? You know, well, when we look at the kind of houses we see in Nigeria these days, they are more for the high end. So if we're talking about housing Nigerians, how can these houses be made affordable for those at the lower group, those that really need these houses?
In my own opinion, I think the only thing that we can do is just to embrace local building materials. For instance, we have the issue of cement. We have interlocking, hydro form building that makes use of less percentage of cement. Unfortunately, this is one area that has been neglected in this country that the people don't really admire. We have to look at that if the government is sincere.
All right, there's been mixed reaction to the launch of this Renewed Hope Cities and Housing Estate. Nigerians, they talked about, went to the streets to conduct, to get Nigerians' opinion to this. And someone mentioned the NLC, the TUC, then there was a housing program that they brought up for both NLC, TUC, the fish program that till today we don't know what has become of those programs. So how do we make sure that this one doesn't end up like those other programs?
Well, we have this problem of continuity in governance in Nigeria. Every new administration wants to come in with their own program. But we have failed over and again to look at factors responsible for failure of those programs until we do a critical analysis of why those programs failed. Then coming up with new program may also go the way those ones failed. What it means now is that some of those programs have been abandoned. They are abandoned projects. And nobody's continuing with them. I don't know what is wrong with our leaders, those things. For instance, if they have to tackle the issues of building materials, government must be emphatic. Talk to the manufacturers. Set up a cottage, factories that will produce en masse for them, and you can even dictate to this manufacturer that this is how much you want to pay for each of all of these things, and you give them tax rebates for them to be able to produce for the purpose of this project. If they don't embrace that, then I don't know how they're going to succeed if they have to go with what is obtainable in the market. That is just the issue.
All right, so thank you so very much, Toyeniola, for your take on this issue. We hope to see more Nigerians own homes through the Renewed Hope Cities and Housing Estates very soon in the country. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
My guest has been Toyeniola, the Executive Secretary of Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria. You're watching Housing Development. Housing is a fundamental right, as citizens cannot enjoy other rights without it. A household expenditure on housing is usually one that takes the largest share of its budget. Lowering housing costs then means greater opportunities for households to spend more money on other goods and services, which contribute to the creation of new jobs. On that note, I call it a wrap on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. I remain your housing diva, Flora Annie.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.